What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Elemental Hero Neos deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck that's super fun to be able to play and can summon out all sorts of incredible Neos fusion monsters. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name in description every single video, getting his signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Elemental Hero Neos. This card is an amazing 2-of in the deck that we're going to be using to fusion summon into all sorts of powerful Neos fusion monsters. We're then playing 2 copies of Elemental Hero Spirit of Neos. This card is an incredible card in the deck. It has the ability that when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle. And if this card is special summoned, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 polymerization or a spell or trap that mentions an Elemental Hero monster's card name, which is a really cool ability for this card to have. And this card can also tag itself out for your original copy of Neos, which is amazing to be able to do to instantly get your copy of Elemental Hero Neos on your side of the field. We then play for the Neospacians. We're going to be playing a single copy of Aqua Dolphin. This card is great at helping you look at your opponent's hand. We then play a single copy of Dark Panther, 1 copy of Air Hummingbird, and a single copy of Grand Mole. These are all really good as 1 each in the deck. I really like these at playing 4 different ones in this particular build because they're all really good. You can use your copy of Air Hummingbird for time. You can use Grand Mole to be able to bounce cards off the field. Your copy of Aqua Dolphin is just really good to be able to look at your opponent's hand. And your copy of Dark Panther is amazing to be able to copy effects. I love that about it, and it's just really, really good. I love these in the deck, and they're just the best ones to be able to play, especially for the fusion monsters that you can make using them. We then play 3 copies of Crosskeeper. Crosskeeper is a definite 3-of in the deck, and this card is just absolutely crazy. As you can send this card from your hand or your field to the graveyard to special summon an Elemental Hero monster or a Neospacian monster from your hand or graveyard, but negate its effects if summoned from the graveyard. And if you special summon an Elemental Hero fusion monster while this card's in the grave, you can actually banish this card from the grave and then draw 2 cards and place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, which is great to help you just dig into the deck and put cards that you don't want in your hand, like your copies of Elemental Hero Neos, back on the bottom of the deck so you can get them out later, which is just really cool. I love this card as a 3-of in the build, is it helps you get your copy of Spirit of Neos instantly on your side of the field, and it's just a definite 3-of in the build. We then play 2 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos is really good as a 2-of in the build because this card searches a hero on summon, which is just really good. We then play a single copy of Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is really good in this deck as a 1-of because if it does touch the graveyard, you get to search out a hero monster from your deck to your hand, which is just really good. We then play a single copy of Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier is amazing because if this card is used as a fusion material for a hero fusion monster and sent to the grave or banished, you can draw 2 cards and then discard a card, which is super good because a lot of times with this particular build, you can actually get both draw effects off of these cards, giving you a draw 4 per turn, which is just really cool. I love that about this deck. We then play a single copy of Blazeman. Blazeman is just amazing. And quick shout out to D-Time TCG. This card is amazing in the deck. This card is so good, and I actually saw this with D-Time TCG, which you guys should definitely go check out his channel. He's an amazing Yu-Gi tuber that plays heroes, and this deck is absolutely insane. But Blazeman is his tech card that I saw, and this card is just super, super good. Because if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, which is amazing about this card because you don't have to jump through the hoops that you would with your Vion, which is why I play this card in this particular build over the copy of Vion, because this card can search out your copy of your polymerization instantly, where your copy of Vion would have to send your copy of Shadow Mist to the graveyard and then banish your copy of Shadow Mist from the grave. And your opponent has something like a Called by the Grave, a DD Crow, anything like that that's going to banish your one hero out of the graveyard. You can't get to polymerization anymore, which is why I agree that this is actually the better choice over the copy of Vion. Plus, you can also summon this card with a Hero Lives, which is just so much better with your copy of Vion. And this card is amazing in the deck. I absolutely love this card in this particular build, and it helps out so much. We then play a single copy of Armed Dragon Thunder level 10. This card is really amazing in the deck because you're just going to use this card to be able to summon out your copy of Armed Neos, which is an incredible boss monster to be able to summon. And you guys know Majome Thunder. This card is amazing in the deck to be able to just use to summon out Armed Neos, which is an incredible boss monster to make in this deck. We then finally play a single copy of Rainbow Dragon because I want to be able to make Rainbow Neos with this build. And this card is just super good to be able to use to be able to make your copy of Rainbow Neos, and it's a great card to be able to play in the deck. You never want to see these cards in your opening hand, but they're really good to be able to use with cards like Neos Fusion, so you can go in for fusion plays. And with us playing polymerization in the deck, you can just have a copy of, say, Elemental Hero Neos in the hand, and one of these in the hand to be able to fusion summon, which does come up every so often, which is really insane. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda's really good in the deck as a one-of because this card searches out our warrior monsters from the deck. We then play a single copy of Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion is searchable off our copy of Sunriser, which is why we're just playing a single copy of this card in the deck, but it helps us go in for a bunch of cool fusion plays. We then play 2 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is the way to go with 2 in the deck because just in case you can't get to one of them or your opponent banishes one of them, you still have a second one in the deck, and there's a lot of ways to search this card from the deck, which is why I think playing 2 copies of this card is the correct number. Plus, if you see this card in your opening hand, you have a bunch of cards that you can instantly fusion summon into with this card, which is why I absolutely love this card as a 2-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Emergency Call. This card is really good as a 3-of in the deck because this card can instantly get you to your copy of Spirit of Neos, it can get you to your copy of Stratos, it can get you to your copy of Blazeman. There's just a bunch of cards that this card can get you to, and it's a great extender for the deck to get the exact card that you need. Plus, if you already have the cards that you need, you can just activate this card first to be able to bait out cards like Ash Blossom to make sure that you're going to get your plays to go through. We then play 3 copies of Neos Fusion. Neos Fusion is amazing as a 3-of in the build because this card is amazing to help you fusion summon into cards by using materials from the deck. I love that about this card, and it helps you go in for all sorts of really awesome boss monsters that just require Neos as a fusion material. So this card is a definite 3-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Engage Neospace. This card is crazy. If you see this card in your opening hand, you're usually going to win if you resolve this card because this card is so powerful. It lets you send a Neospatian monster and then an Elemental Hero monster, 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck to the graveyard. And then special summon a Neospatian monster or a level 5 or higher Elemental Hero monster from your deck. And if you do, add a polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And if you special summoned Elemental Hero Neos, by this effect, it gains 1,000 attack points, but you cannot special summon monsters from the extract except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card's ability, which is one of the only cards in the deck that actually locks us into fusion summoning, but you have to be careful with this card. But it's really good in this particular build because it can help you get your copy of Spirit of Neos onto your side of the field, which can give you an additional search, and this card is just going to help you out so much to be able to get your copy of your Spirit of Neos on your side of the field. And usually why I play 4 different Neospatians in the build is because I want to send one of them from my hand to the graveyard and then send a copy of, say, Shadow Mist from the deck to the grave so I can get an additional search of a hero, which is really amazing. I love this card in the deck, and it's one of the most powerful cards in the build. We then play 3 copies of Instant Contact. Instant Contact is crazy because you pay 1,000 life points to special summon a level 7 or lower Elemental Hero or Neospatian monster from your extract, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is a really cool ability to instantly get one of those powerful monsters on your side of the field, and this card is a definite 3-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is really cool because if you control no face-up monsters, you can pay half your life points to special summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck, which is great to be able to search out your copy of Stratos and put it on your side of the field instantly so you can get an additional search of, say, like a Blazeman, so you don't even waste your normal summon. So then you can normal summon the copy of Blazeman and get a search of, say, Polymerization, which is just really cool, depending on your hand. We then play 3 copies of Ian Shuffle. Ian Shuffle is really cool in this deck because it lets us shuffle an elemental hero or Neospatian monster that you control back into the deck, and if you do, you get to special summon an elemental hero or Neospatian monster with a different name from your deck, essentially letting you tag out one of your monsters for a different monster, which is great in this particular build. You can also banish this card from your graveyard and then shuffle both from your graveyard into your deck, either one elemental hero monster and a Neospatian monster, or an elemental hero Neos to draw a card, which is great to be able to use in this deck. So that's it for these spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, guys, we're just going to be playing 2 traps, and that's going to be 2 copies of Favorite Contact. I really like 2 copies of this card in the build because it's just such a powerful card. I don't even worry about seeing this card in my opening hand because it helps you in so many different ways. Since you play 2 copies of this card in the deck, it helps you go in for a bunch of different plays, helping you step into your copy of Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, which is just so cool, or into other really powerful Neos fusion monsters, which is really cool, while also recycling your resources, making this card a really powerful 2-of. You can search it with your copy of Infernal Rage, which is really amazing about this card, but you will put your copy of Infernal Rage back into your extra deck when you go into your copy of Shining Neos Wingman using this card, which is really amazing to play a second copy of this card just in case you need another one late game, because later in the game you're going to have a bunch of materials that you can use with this card, and it's great to use this card as a recovery just in case you need to get back in the game. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with a single copy of Armed Neos. This card is one of my new favorite fusion monsters. I absolutely love this card because it does require an armed dragon to make this card, which is just super cool. I love that about this card. And if this card is special summon, you can actually choose a dragon monster in your graveyard and destroy all monsters that your opponent controls with an equal or lower level than that monster, which is going to be level 10 because we're going to pick Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 to be able to use with this card. It also has a really cool ability. If this card destroys a monster by battle, you can make this card gain the following effect: that during the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute this card and then special summon an Elemental Hero Fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is always going to be your copy of Cosmo Neos that you're usually going to summon out with this card's ability, so you can essentially skip your opponent's turn with the effect of Cosmo Neos' ability, which is really cool. This card basically turns your opponent's entire turn off, which is why we call it the turn skip, which is really cool. I love this card in the deck to be able to use with Armed Neos. We then play a single copy of Brave Neos. This card is just a really good, basically generic card that we can go into, which is why we play this card as a 1-of in the deck. It just requires an Elemental Hero Neos plus any level 4 lower effect monster to make this card, which can be any of your hero monsters like Stratos, Blazeman, Liquid Soldier, any of those cards, or any of your Neospatian monsters, which is really cool with a Polymerization. And it does have a great ability that when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists the card Elemental Hero Neos in its text, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Aqua Neos. This card is great to deal with cards in your opponent's hand, and I love this card as a 1-of in the build. Play a single copy of Dark Neos. This card is a Walking Negate, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the build. Plus, this is my favorite Neos fusion outside of Shining Neos Wingman. This card is just so cool looking and really good in the deck. We then play a single copy of Air Neos, and I'm really quickly going to tell you guys, you don't have to play this card. This card is cool in the deck, but you can play Grand Neos over it because I know this card is really expensive. You don't have to worry about this card. You can play Grand Neos over it or any of the other Neospatian fusions. I just play this card because I own one, and it's really good in the deck to be able to go in for game, and it's really cool in the deck because it's huge when it comes out to the field, especially if you resolve A Hero Lives. But this card is really good as a 1-of in the deck if you have it. If you don't, play Grand Neos over it. You can totally do that because Grand Neos is a bounce but if you have it, play it. If you don't, don't. We then play a single copy of Nebula Neos. Nebula Neos is insane to be able to make because this card is just amazing for its effects, to be able to let you draw a bunch of cards and also banish cards, which is just really nice. Play a single copy of a Rainbow Neos. Rainbow Neos is insane because it has 3 really cool effects that you can send a monster that you control to the graveyard and shuffle all monsters that your opponent controls into the deck. You can send a spell or trap card you control to the graveyard to shuffle all spells and trap cards your opponent controls into the deck, or send a card from the top of your deck to the graveyard and then shuffle all cards in your opponent's graveyard back in the deck. So this card can help you just deal with your opponent's field, which is really nice. We play a single copy of the original Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. This is for instant contact, just in case you want to be able to make a copy of Shining Neos Wingman with polymerization, and a copy of, say, an Elemental Hero Neos, which is super easy to do if you open up Neos and polymerization, or a way to get to Neos and a polymerization, or a way to get to polymerization and Neos at the exact same time. So it's really easy to be able to do with this card, and it's a great card to be able to play in the deck because it's super nostalgic. We then play its upgraded version, Infernal Rage. This card is awesome in the deck because it does search a favorite card, which is going to be favorite contact that you're going to be searching off this card's ability all the time. And since we're going to be using Neos to make this card with Liquid Soldier the majority of the time in this particular build, it's very easy to be able to search out favorite contact and then step into a copy of Shining Neos Wingman. This card is also really cool because you can actually tag this card out for a copy of Sunrise, which then will get you a copy of Miracle Fusion, which is really amazing. We then play 2 copies of Shining Neos Wingman. I love this card as a 2-of in the build because it's so easy to make in this deck. And it's one of my favorite boss monsters in the game because it's huge when it comes out to your side of the field. And it's really good because it can pop multiple cards on the field. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. And it also has that Shining Neos Wingman effect that if it destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal that monster's original attack, which is cool. And it does gain 300 attack for each monster in your graveyard, which is really amazing. I love this card. It's an amazing boss monster, and it's very easy to make in this particular build, and also can be used as a disruption by using favorite contact to be able to make this card. We then play a single copy of Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is absolutely amazing in this deck because it's very easy to make and it's a board wipe, so I play this card as a 1-of in the deck. And then finally a single copy of Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. This card is for OTKs, which is why we play this card as a 1-of in the build. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played an Elemental Hero Neos deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try. It's really fun to be able to play. It's relatively budget to be able to make, which is really nice. And I love that about this particular build. It's really amazing. You really don't need the hand traps because you have so many ways to just disrupt your opponent with this particular build, especially the turn skip with your copy of Arm Neos being able to swing into a monster and then tag into a copy of Cosmo Neos to essentially turn your opponent's turn off, which is really cool, and even use favorite contact with your Shining Neos Wingman to pop multiple cards on the field, which is just amazing. So that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.